You just heard selections from pop singer-songwriter Maisy Kay, whose YouTube channel has millions of views. She recently performed at House of Blues Houston and is preparing for the European leg of her tour with her unique musical theater-style shows. Joining us with more on her career so far and latest single, Bitter, is Maisy Kay. Good morning.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, you have to answer this like mystery for me. Like a lot of British singers, it's like you have a British accent, but when you sing your song, you sound very American. How does that happen?
Yes, they tell you to do that. When I first was in artist development, they trained that British accent right out of me.
Oh, but we love your British accent. All right, you grew up in small villages in England. I've been to several small villages in England, and I love them because they're so peaceful and quiet, but there's not a lot going on there, which might have something to do with the fact of you kind of like, entertaining yourself, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. My town, population 1,200. You can't get anywhere without a car. So my childhood was playing in the gardens, climbing trees, hanging out with the animals. It was pretty wonderful, honestly, but I'm glad I'm somewhere a bit more accessible now.
Yeah, you were a self-taught pianist, constantly singing. You would dress up in like costumes and you would just put a performance on at the house.
Yeah, I was dressing up as Disney princesses and serenading my dogs. I was writing my own musicals. I've always been very into the music world. I don't think anyone was surprised that I ended up being a singer.
Yeah, but you made that big decision, and it's a big decision to cross the pond. You decided you wanted to be in the music industry and you wanted to pursue your dreams, so you moved to Los Angeles with your parents. And you were pretty young when you made that decision that that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I think I was 14. So I'm very lucky that my parents have always been super supportive and they were very excited for me when we got the offer to move over there. But yeah, definitely a culture shock.
Yeah, your musical influences were two, I think, of the greatest, right? Freddie Mercury, of course, Adele, Whitney Houston, and Harry Styles. And so you've kind of blended all that to create your own style. In 2020, you had the smash single, The Storm. What's it like to wake up to a smash single?
I mean, it's so wonderful. And I think what I love about The Storm the most is that I sing in the fictional language from James Cameron's Avatar, which is called Na'vi. And that language is something I learned when I was 10 years old, just because I loved Avatar and I was very heavily bullied for it at the time. So the fact that the song now has over 40 million streams, I know 10-year-old me would be so proud.
Yeah. And you come into the music industry at such an interesting time because before, back in the olden days, we may not have ever heard of you if not for a record deal through a record company and them promoting you and you getting on the radio. Today, you can go straight to the internet. You mentioned some of your views. Okay, you have nearly 40 million Spotify streams, over 320 million YouTube views on that smash single, and then they just keep coming. Like your song, The Beast Within. How do you come about the songs that you do and finding what the meaning of them would be?
Yeah, so I think what's worked best for me is just taking real experiences from my own life. With my EP Wanderlust, that was the most honest and authentic I've ever been to what was happening in my personal life at the moment. And I found that fans really resonated with that and loved it. So as intimidating as it can feel to sort of feel like you're putting your diary out on the internet, I think it also really helps build a community. And a lot of people all around the world, we sort of feel the same feelings. So I love that I'm able to connect with people and help them through moments in that way.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You create your herd of people who basically, you're singing their life story, right? But your #1 Spotify viral hit, Distance. You've had, Metamorphosis, your EP, Wanderlust that you touched on earlier, and Somebody You Never Touched. It goes on and on and on. You do a lot of music. All right, your latest song, Bitter, what's behind that?
Yeah, so Bitter, funnily enough, is a song all about not being bitter anymore and about finally being able to move on from someone that you thought you'd never be able to move on from. So the title sounds a bit miserable, but the song is actually very hopeful and very grateful of just being able to move on from a chapter that you didn't think you'd be able to move on from.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We know you're getting ready for your European tour, and we hope you come back to Houston someday.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you so much.
All right. Maisy Kay's latest single, Bitter, is out now, available with the rest of her catalog everywhere music is streamed. For more information, visit greatdayhouston.com and we will connect you. We'll be right back.